Welcome back, Sam Bloomsville Goods, and let's see if I can stay on topic tonight. I am still actually kind of bubbling a little bit on the topic yesterday, and just had all kinds of I don't know, little brain fireworks going on today. Just a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about, but I don't know, maybe maybe I need to get a therapist or something. I'm not sure. I'm kind of just talking at y'all. It's part of a little bit of a venting therapy, but I'm gonna, let's see. So, ran across this article. Global fish wars could break out as climate change and rising nationalism fuel competition for world's oceans. That sounds fun. Come on, let's take a little trip, you and I. Let's see what this is about. Conflicts like the infamous Cod Wars between the UK and Iceland could erupt across the globe unless countries cooperate to manage stocks effectively, experts warn. Let's see, this page is just frozen up. Sorry. The twin threats of climate change and growing nationalism could lead to an outbreak of conflicts over fish stocks. Like the infamous Cold Wars between... It's going to try and play a video too. Dang it. Let's stop this. Sorry. They try and just sneak the videos into these news pages all the time. I don't necessarily need to see them. The Cod Wars between the UK and Iceland that could threaten the global supply of food. Okay. And I knew this was going to happen. Sorry. Please stop. Okay. Speaking at the American Association of the Advancement of Science's annual meeting in Boston on Thursday, a panel of experts said with the right management and international cooperation, the number of fish in the sea and the amount caught by fishing fleets could increase over the coming decades. With the right management and international cooperation. However, they warned rising temperatures were prompting many species to move to different parts of the sea. And they could also just move into not even being there anymore, which could threaten some individual countries' economies and access to food. During the Cod Wars between the UK and Iceland between the 1950s and 1970s, British gunboats were sent to ward off Icelandic boats from disputed waters. Yep, I'm sure we will see some stuff like that happening. Eventually, it was agreed that Iceland would be allowed to catch any fish within its 200-mile territorial limit, an outcome seen as a victory for Reykjavik. A more recent trade war erupted in 2010 over mackerel in the North Atlantic between the European Union, Iceland, Norway, and the Faroes. Michael Hart, a professor of marine geography at Oregon State University, said he had been looking into the winners and losers from climate change's effects on fisheries. I mean, let's hope that they can manage the fish stocks. I don't know. The problem with managing the fish stocks is you have to actually manage the environment in which the fish live, and we're not doing that well. We have pollution, rising pollution from agricultural runoff. We have all kinds of stuff in the ocean. There was just a report that I talked about the other day about finding pollutants in the deep sea trenches, and so managing the fisheries and managing the fish stocks involves managing our entire environment, not just the specifically the ocean and how we fish. And we are already overfishing. Fish populations are crashing. There are a lot of fish populations that are down as much as 80 or 90%. And I don't know how we're going to bring that back. We need to, stop polluting, stop letting waste just dump into the ocean. And I don't know that there's any kind of widespread, large-scale stuff going on. Although I did see, in the good news category of climate change, I did see that there was some major plastic trash cleanup going on that's about to start in the ocean, I believe this year. Let's hope that does something for this. I also believe that we need to stop producing the garbage that gets into the ocean. Plastics. We're starting to enact bag taxes, but there's still an abundance of plastics in the world. There's plastics everywhere, and they're getting into our ecosystem at all levels. Not just the ocean, rivers, landfills everywhere. There's plastic and plastic residue, and we are bombarding ourselves with pollutants on every level. So I just wanted to give you that little bit, and then there's this goes along right with it. Oxygen levels in the ocean have dropped due to climate change. Let's check that out. So again, we're not gonna be able to manage the fish stocks if there's no oxygen in the ocean. If there's these dead zones, just continue to widen and deepen and spread out, we're not going to have any fish to manage. We know that climate change is having a drastic impact on the ice caps and the glaciers, but it is also changing the chemical makeup of the oceans. While the levels of carbon dioxide are increasing, a new paper has documented how the concentration of oxygen in the oceans is decreasing. The results have been published in Nature and are an analysis of over 50 years worth of data looking at a range of parameters from ocean salinity to temperature. They calculated that over this period, the world's oceans have lost an average of 2% of their oxygen. This might not sound like much, but the researchers note that even such a small drop in oxygen concentration can be enough to completely alter some ecosystems, including the formation of dead zones. The main process through which the oceans are losing their oxygen is simply the heating of the water. As the oceans warm, the ability to trap dissolved oxygen decreases, which is why colder waters on Earth contain a lower concentration of the gas. This warming of the ocean has another effect, as the warming is generally contained to the upper reaches of the oceans. It decreases the density of the surface water, preventing it from dropping to the depths and taking the life-giving oxygen with it. The increase in carbon dioxide levels in the seas, while beneficial for some organisms, is likely to be majorly harmful to many others. By increasing the acidity of the water, creatures with calcium carbonate shells will simply dissolve away, including vast coral reefs in the tropics. So yeah, the management of our oceans is important indeed. And it all starts with us. We need to manage ourselves, do we not? Again, we can, as with the Dakota pipeline, as with fracking, as with cutting emissions, all these things that we look at outside of ourselves or outside of our responsibility, outside of our personal agency, in which we can, make a difference. We can make a difference. That means, managing our own personal lives in a way in which we don't impact the world, lowering our footprint, lowering our impact. That means buying less stuff, buying things that don't have plastic in them, or plastic wrapping. buying bulk goods of, products whenever possible. Just, it's so difficult to get away from, the packaging and the consumption and the just, it just happens. And it's really hard to stop. So, if you're wondering how to stop it, or if you're wondering what you can do about it, the first step is just taking notice, just observing, all the things that you bring into your life, all the things that you buy, all the things that even just going to the store and getting some food. Your bread comes in plastic, everything comes in plastic these days. Fruit, vegetables are wrapped in plastic a lot of times. They don't even need to be. Just there are, a million little tiny ways that you can cut these things out, and you can start doing this and start looking at what you're doing. It may seem a little crazy to people. I know that I'm a little bit of a nut job when it comes to, not trying not to buy things in packaging, and I also am an avid, if not obsessive, recycler. There are little ways we can make differences in the world, and we can start today. That's pretty much the end of what I had to say. I did want to just touch on something real quick. I noticed on a recent video I did about Fukushima, I had like 4 dislikes. Like, no, for a video that didn't have more than probably 50 views in the last couple days. I find that interesting. I don't know if somebody just didn't like what I was saying, or didn't like the way I presented it, or didn't agree with me, or or if one person just came back and made sure to dislike the video. Anyways, it's all good. I don't really care. It doesn't affect me like on a personal level. I'm not bummed out, although I am curious. So if the person that just had to dislike that video, or the people that had to dislike that video, if anybody can give me a clue as to why, that would be awesome. Just because I want to know. If you disagreed, why did you disagree? If you if you didn't like my face, I don't know. I don't know if I need to hear that, but whatever. Anyways, it's all good. If you like or dislike this video, please like or dislike this video. Leave me a comment. I appreciate your eyes and your ears. I appreciate your subscription if you are subscribed to this channel. I think this is the only video I'm going to do today. I'm going to come back hopefully tomorrow or the next day with a couple more. Thanks for watching.